too. That's what's gotta gotta know. What's up?
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Good, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I'm good.
Oh,
You? I can hear you well.
loud and clear, man.
Yep. So how you been?
Hanging in there. It's nice to see that we're starting to come out of COVID. Everybody who's listening to this, for the love of God, get vaccinated so we can get back to live shows and having live crowds and as many people as possible crammed into a tiny little space. So it's an exciting time.
Yes, please. Can you please tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Man, I've been in wrestling since 2005 and
Mm.
started training at Pro Championship Wrestling on the West Coast. It was in Yuba City, California at the time. Now it's located in Oroville. And up and down the West Coast, as much as possible. I think safe to say, my first claim to fame was on season 5 of WWE Tough Enough in 2011. In fact, I've just recently launched a tell-all podcast about my time on Tough Enough, which you can check out by going to thetoughtalkpod.com. And then from there, what? More independent wrestling. And in 2016, I won Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Rock the Promo competition, which launched his YouTube channel in 2016. Um, in 2018, I voiced Buzz for WWE 2K19 and then again for 2K20. One half of the commentary team for Major League Wrestling in from 20 half of 2018 until 2020. So yeah, I've had a fun run. Well, yeah, and of course, let's not forget one half of the Yolo County Tag Team Championships. What's up, DNC Digital? Good to see you too.
Nothing much. Pretty good. So you have 16 years of experience already.
Man, well, when you say it like that, it sounds like I'm getting old.
So how many years do you think you have left of pro wrestling before you finally hang up your boots?
It's a good question. What's up, Raven Effect? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, well, let's see. It depends if you're talking about pro wrestling in ring performing, or if it means pro wrestling hosting, ring announcing, commentary, managing, that kind of thing. Because I'm doing all those other things, but it's weird. My most recent in ring stint was with AEW on AEW Dark back in January. So, you know the old saying, never say never. Oh yes, DNC Digital, of course, saying don't forget Brosif, the voice of Hood Slam. That's true.
I
Um,
remember that.
but I don't
I like
know.
that.
I don't know when Hood Slam's coming back. So
Hopefully we see you on AEW Dark again soon.
that's what I'm saying. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But like, give me a mic next time. You know what I mean? That's where my
Yeah,
contributions are most valuable.
I
Is
know.
behind a mic.
So how's your family doing during this pandemic?
They're hanging in there. They're doing all right. They're healthy, which is the most important thing. My folks are doing okay. They're both in their early mid 70s, so they're definitely in that higher risk category. Emily, my sister, she's doing great. She's just hunkering down with her longtime boyfriend. So, family's good. How's your family? Let's talk about your family.
My family's good. My family's okay, so they're safe and healthy, and I'll be going to see my mom the end of the month next June. I mean this June.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that. By the way, Charles Porter, who is Porter Charles in the chat, pointed out Best of the West. I'm glad you brought that up because one of the promotions that I work for on a regular basis is Best of the West in Fresno, California, which is kind of central California. And they have officially announced their return show, which is going to be Saturday, June 26th. And you can get your tickets by going to botw.tv. So if anybody listening to this is in the Central California area, if you're itching to get back to live shows as much as I am, then botw.tv to get your tickets for Best of the West. It's been way too long since we've had. You can say that about any promotion, right? It's just been way too long since we've had live crowds at a show. Some shows are doing it, and good for them, as long as you're doing it safely. For the love of
Yeah.
God, do it safely.
So who's your favorite wrestlers that you watched in the ring when you were a kid before you started pro wrestling?
Shawn Michaels, man. Shawn Michaels,
Oh,
greatest of all time, in my opinion. And that covers a lot of ground. But when you look at somebody who can cut a convincing promo, who's got endless charisma, equally endless athleticism, psychology, character evolution, like for my money, Shawn Michaels is the greatest to ever do it. Followed closely, as far as personal favorites go, by Mick Foley. Mick Foley was a dude who made me believe wrestling in a way that I never really had before. He made me question whether or not it was fake. And because I already knew, like, for a lot of people, it doesn't take, it just like kind of as a kid, in the back of your mind, but you don't really want to talk about it. It's not the type of thing that you're saying,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So Mick, though, I remember one time I was 12, I was watching wrestling, and Mick made me, after watching his debut on Monday Night Raw in 1996, which I can't believe is 25 years ago. Holy hell. Um, yeah, I had to walk into my parents' room where they were watching TV, and I was like, Mom, Dad, wrestling's not real, right? And they're like, no, it's just a show. I'm like, okay. And meanwhile, there's Undertaker like foaming at the mouth while Mick Foley has the mandible claw, and I'm like,
Ugh.
okay. He looks like he's having some trouble, but okay. Raven Effect, thank you for the kind words, by the way. Is it okay
Mm.
that I'm keeping an eye on the chat down here?
Go ahead.
Great.
No, no issue.
Raven
So
Effect
do you?
says Brody is money on the mic. I appreciate that. And DC Travel
Yes,
Warrior
you
says
are.
thank you. Put off retirement from being in the ring for a long, long time. I'm not really sure what that means, but how many people are ever really positive that they wrestled their last match? I think very, very few.
Yeah. So when do you think like everything's gonna go back to normal from this pandemic?
Man, you're gonna have to ask people that are far better educated than I am about that. Like anything I say is just gonna be sheer speculation and also with a heavy dash of wishful thinking. I would like to think that had everybody taken this as seriously as they should have, that we could have been open this time last year. But as
People are
as
idiots, though.
people well said, people are idiots. People are idiots.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame that the selfishness of a lot of people and the personal inconvenience of wearing a mask and social distancing and washing hands and wiping down surfaces, like it's a shame that that was too much to ask in a global pandemic that is literally affecting everybody in the entire world, has killed 500,000 people in the United States alone. And the fact that people can't be bothered to inconvenience themselves a little bit to take it seriously, it's embarrassing. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing just as a human. It's like, really, this is how we're gonna treat this. I want to go to New Zealand. New Zealand is wide freaking open right now because they did take it seriously. Granted, they're a much smaller country, of course, but like, I don't know. I think there's definitely something to be learned from this entire experience. And so, again,
Yes,
if we have new
definitely.
people watching, please get vaccinated the first chance you get so we can go back to live shows, not just live shows, but like hanging out with our friends and going to bars and hugs and all that good stuff. So please get vaccinated.
So my last question for you before I let you go is, do you have any advice for like kids and adults that want to do pro wrestling or anything for them?
I do. By the way, shout out to everybody who just joined. Ryan cooking, what is that? Cooking lolly? Gordo and Matt, thanks for popping in. Just in time for the final question. Do I have any advice for people who want to get into pro wrestling? Yes, I do. Um, I recently chatted with Simon Miller. Are you familiar with Simon Miller?
No, not
Okay.
really.
He's with the um, YouTube show called What Culture, and if he's great, by the way. Like Google him as soon as we're done here. You'll like what you see. He's a fun, great guy, super motivating. I interviewed him for my Tough Talk podcast, which again you can check out at thetoughtalkpod.com. my tell-all podcast about my time on Tough Enough 10 years ago, which I still can't believe that was 10 years ago. But Simon said the best time to do anything is either right now or 10 years ago. So if anybody's watching this and you've always had the thought in the back of your head that, you know what, I want to pursue pro wrestling. I want to see what that's about. I have to know. I have to know. I have to experience it from that side of the performance. Then do it. Doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, ultimately, if you want a long, healthy career in pro wrestling, it might matter how old you are, but there's no reason you can't get after it immediately. If you're pursuing pro wrestling brand new without any prior experience, show up in shape. Like, start doing squats at home, start doing burpees at home, start doing push-ups, start doing crunches, start running a lot. Because if you show up for the first day of pro wrestling training and you're not in shape, it's going to be a few of the most miserable hours of your life. That's just the way it is. And the sooner you're in shape, the sooner you're going to start having fun in pro wrestling. So don't just sign up for a pro wrestling school because the world is opening back up again and they need to like fill their roster. Take a couple months at least and get in shape, like get in the best shape of your life. And then just be prepared to hurt a lot because bumping sucks. Like bumping is just, you definitely have to get used to it, and you definitely need to decide ahead of time whether or not this is something you're going to see through, which is what I did. Like, I had made up my mind that I was going to pursue pro wrestling, and I was in such pain at the end of my first practice. So much pain. I could barely walk up the
Oh,
stairs like the next day. I hurt so badly. But I had made up my mind that I was going to make this happen and that I wanted to pursue this. And as we kind of covered at the top of the interview, I've been really lucky to have some amazing moments in pro wrestling that I never ever would have thought possible. I mean, there was one moment on Tough Enough when this didn't make the show, by the way. There's some behind the scenes stuff. We were watching, where we were eating dinner. And on one side of this super long banquet table is John Cena. And at the other side of this super long banquet table is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the fact that like I was just like sitting there in the middle of the table, just looking like there's John Cena and there's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're like giving each other like playful jabs, you know what I mean? Like at one point somebody asked John Cena, like, is there anybody you want to wrestle that you haven't wrestled yet? And Cena was like, yeah, there is one guy. And he looks over at Steve Austin. Just to be there for a moment like that, I still get chills just like thinking about it. So, and that moment never would have happened had I not made up my mind that, damn it, I'm going to pursue pro wrestling and I am not taking no for an answer. So that would be my advice. Decide ahead of time that it's something you're committed to, show up in shape, and see what happens. The answer is always no unless you give it a shot.
yeah, don't give up.
That's it. You said it,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you so much for spending a couple minutes of your time with me, and hopefully we get to catch up soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully you
man.
guys stay safe, and goodbye. Good night.
Take care, everybody.
You too.